we are going to start with our first session. Sorry, we started 15 minutes late. I request that next time we join in very, very early so that we can get to start on time prompt. But today we are going to start with our first session of Let There Be Light, free week business training. And the first session is going to look at why start a business. And we are privileged to be here and be imparted with this knowledge. The gentleman is going to take us through this session. He's a multifaceted man. He's a married man. He's a father. And he has amassed, I would say, a lot of experience in regards to business. You know, when you talk of business, it captures almost each and everything. So we are going to listen to my beloved brother, Matthew Sedze. I hope I've pronounced it well. He will be taking us through this first session, and then we shall get to see how it goes on. So let's all join together to welcome Brother Matthew to be able to take us through this first session. Matthew, you're welcome.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Emma. It's a pleasure to be here this morning to share with you. My name is Matthew, as Emma said. I will not go into my background, but I love entrepreneurship and businesses. I think from a very young age, both my parents were actually small business owners. My dad owned an engineering company, and my mother was a tailor. So I've always been fascinated with business and also with the potential and the promise of business. So when Emma, came up with this concept and shared it with me, I was very excited because I know the power of business to transform lives and communities. And when I think about business and I think about where to start off with, a lot of entrepreneurs, the biggest mistake or the biggest challenge that they face over time is based on the fact that they did not know why they were in business. And I'm going to start off with a very quick poll, quick question. I would love a few people to just share why do you think you should start a business? Or why are you, as somebody looking entrepreneurship, why are you looking to start a business? I'll ask maybe if you can share whether you want to type in the chat or whether you want to raise your hand and share. I would love to hear people's voices. I would love to make this engaging. We don't have the benefit of being in the same room, but I want to make sure that we are all together. If you can go off mute, raise your hand, go off mute, share what is your reason for starting a business. I will also look in the chat for those who are there. Just drop in your reason, and we'll take it from there.
Yes, Patrick, you can go ahead.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, primarily, I would think about starting a business to be profitable. I would love to start a business to grow my money or my wealth in any way.
That's a good reason. Esther says to add more income. That's great. For diversification and multiple income generation, that's also very good. Emmanuel says to offer a solution to my community as I make money. That's very good as well. Anyone else with reasons why they would start a business?
I think you missed Julius up there. He says business is the main strategy for the well-being of someone in terms of lifestyle.
Yeah, that is also very good. And there are very many reasons to start a business. one of the things that commonly what we hear from entrepreneurs, and a lot of you have looked at it, is income. We all need revenue. We all need to add that extra shilling, whatever it is, extra dollar, extra euro, no matter wherever you are. And income is one of the reasons why a lot of people start businesses. But sometimes, especially with business, is that if that income is not coming, it might become frustrating. Our motivation every day in terms of what we are doing is very much going to be based on how we are taking it, what is driving us. Sometimes when you're at the office or wherever you are as a business owner and there is no income, do you stay in the business? What do you do? But I want to kind of take us in a different direction this morning, and look at some of the reasons why, as Christians, and I think something that I think is so important for all of us is starting and thinking about business as something that we've been called to do. And I'm going to share a video. We're going to have a discussion. Today's session is very much a very light session, but I want us to have conversation because it's going to build on each other. There's so many tools that you can have, but if you don't have the understanding of why you are starting a business, it's going to affect how you perform, what you do when the business is doing well, what you do when the business is not doing well, as well as how do you show up every single day in that job or in that business in terms of the quality you put in, the impact you have on your community. All those things become really, really important. I've spent the last maybe 10, 20 years, I think past 10 years, I think, working with some of the largest businesses in the world. And I've always been, challenged by why they started. And it's something that has managed to propel companies such as Microsoft, Google, and all of that. Majority of them didn't start their businesses because of money. And one of the things that was a light bulb moment consulting and talking to some of these founders and businesses all over the world is the importance of purpose. Why are we doing this? As somebody who is a Christian, as someone who is practicing in the faith, how we think about where we are as Christians and our place as entrepreneurs goes back to that point where God said in the beginning, let there be light. Africa at this particular juncture is probably in its, I would say, the worst shape it has ever been. And when I say this, I say it with not with fear mongering, but with a realization that we are at a point where there are so many challenges. There's so much to be fixed right now. If you are in Zimbabwe, if you're in South Africa, if you're in Botswana, if you're in Uganda, if you're in Kenya, there is this feeling and this sense that we are in one of the worst moments, the most turbulent moments. If you are reading the stories of what is happening across Africa from either from a political place, from an economic place, the high levels of unemployment, everybody is scattering, everybody is moving around. They're looking for these solutions. They're looking to answers for these problems. And in the very beginning, when God was looking at the earth was shapeless and void. The earth had issues. And we are called to view the earth in the same way that God viewed the earth. We are called to use our inbuilt ability to create something from nothing into building creative solutions for the world that we see. I believe, and this is a challenge for my lifetime, something I personally believe, is that the greatest challenge that this generation has is to end poverty in our lifetime. There's a famous quote, I use it all the time, by a gentleman called Francis Bonoir, who says that every generation must out of obscurity find its purpose, fulfill it, or abandon it. We are in such a generation where the systems around us are placed in a way that does not fully support us to be the people that we would want to be. But that also means it's an opportunity for us to create something different. Everyone always says this, that if you don't like your environment, change it. If you don't like what you're seeing, change it. If we do not like to see the poverty in our nations, we don't like to see the dysfunction in our nations, how do we change it? And I believe business is one of the biggest tools because it's within you and is a part of you to be able to go out and to create and to make a change and a difference in your community. If you've ever studied some of the greatest entrepreneurs on the continent, if you read stories like Aliko Dangote, who's famous, Strive Masiwa from Econet, if you read all these stories, they are men and women that are chasing to solve a specific problem. We might have the commercial outcome of having money, but money is a result of solving a problem so well that people are rewarding you with finances. And that is the one purpose shift that I want to try and encourage us to have as we think and consider why to start a business, is to think about what is the purpose that I have. And purpose can be very different things. Purpose can be the change or movement you want to see in your community. What do you want to see in your community? That could be your purpose. Purpose could be a problem that surrounds you every day that you cannot keep quiet about. So many people start businesses that fail to achieve its potential because it is not out of purpose. It is out of survival. When you create a business out of survival, it produces income. You create a business out of purpose, it creates a nation. It creates a community. It reforms the shape of the world. When God put man on earth and told him to fulfill the earth, to fill the earth and subdue it, he was given a purpose. He was given a mandate from God. That was his purpose, to fill the earth and subdue it. He wasn't told, go out and make money. Money is good. The Bible even says money solves all things. But our greatest call is to live with purpose. So when we are starting a business, if you start differently with an orientation of the purpose that that God has called you to be, the purpose in terms of the problem, in terms of the issues that you are solving, you have a far different experience every day. Your ability to be a success, your ability to make a difference comes out. And I want to challenge us this morning as we think about why starting a business is, what is my purpose? And it is this internal search, not for a business idea, not for how to make my current business successful. It is going back to the basics, going back to the start, to ask, what is your purpose? 90% of the businesses that I interact with on the African continent are businesses of survival. They are businesses that were set up to fill a need, a gap within their owner, but they are not a business of purpose. If your business is not growing, check your purpose. If your business is not flourishing, check your purpose. When we come into business, majority of the times we come in with a sense of this is the new thing. This is a great solution. This is something I have heard can make a lot of money. But what is the purpose? And it's good. It's good to find businesses that make money. But the initial fact, the initial base comes from purpose. I like one of the entrepreneurs who created a glove to turn sign language into audio. He had a niece. The problem was personal. He understood that problem very well. He wanted to solve it. It gave him purpose to solve it. There are so many places where people are thinking and creating and doing all this, and it becomes frustrating sometimes when you're not making the progress that you want. You are not making the money that you want. Check your purpose. So, in an answer to why start a business, I would say there are two reasons why to start a business. One is to fulfill God's purpose for your life. And number two is to follow in the footsteps of the Creator to create. And God doesn't create outside of purpose. He had a reason for every single thing. From the light, from the separation of heaven and earth, from the separation of the land and the waters, He had a plan. He had a purpose. Every single thing that was created on the face of the earth had a purpose. What is the purpose of your business? As you create it, as you go out and you do all these things, what is the purpose? And I'll come to the end of this brief sharing, and we'll open that up for discussions, questions, thoughts. But when we think about our lives and what we are doing as entrepreneurs, it's so easy to get caught up in delivering value. And we're going to build on those concepts. We're going to build on how do you run a good business? How do you create a business plan? How do you use business model design? How do you create and talk about your work and the business that you are doing? How do you make sure your business is profitable? We'll share ideas on what businesses you can start off with. But it will always come back to purpose. All of these are tools in your toolbox that you can use to execute on your purpose, to refine your purpose, to communicate your purpose. God created you as an individual with a specific problem that you are to solve in the world. And because you are in Kampala, you are in Uganda, you are wherever you are in this particular moment, it is not a mistake that you're also here discussing business. God has already given you the seed of entrepreneurship. The question is, what is the plan that God had for me in this moment when He gave me the fire of entrepreneurship in my belly? When He challenged me for this, what is the purpose? Recently, I was speaking to another entrepreneur, as an entrepreneur I follow quite a lot, and his business does garbage collection in Kampala, and I think in a couple of other cities. And I looked at his business. I've looked at what he has managed to build. And he's making an impact. He has turned a problem into a business opportunity. He's serving his community. He's making money out of doing good. So if you walk out, as you go out into the city, as you go out into the streets, listen for the problem that is calling your name. And come back and say, God, I know you've called me to create. Is this the problem that you've put in my heart? Is this the problem that you've put for me to fix in a way that turns that problem into income, into community impact, into a legacy, into a story that glorifies you? So I will end there with that call. We're going to go through several tools this week. It's not just going to be us talking about faith and its center, but we also some practical advice, some practical tools. I've had the pleasure of advising some of Africa's largest businesses. I've had the opportunity to sit in rooms where people trade money. I've had the opportunity to speak with venture capital funds, investors, all sorts of businesses. And it's so funny that majority of the times people are asking one very simple question, and it will surprise you. Is why did you start this business? But yeah, let's have a conversation. I would love to have a chat as we are a little bit over time, but I want to open the floor for questions. I want to get your thoughts, get your ideas. What is God speaking to you? What problem has God placed on your heart? What is that thing that when you get up in the morning always bothers you? Is it that your community doesn't have access to clean drinking water? Is it that your community doesn't have stable electricity? Is it the fact that matoke is too expensive in the city? Is it that the lady that sells vegetables at the corner always throws out 30% of everything that she gets? Is it that the boda rider that you take to town every day is barely scraping by because the price of fuel is too high? These are problems that you are familiar with, problems you see every day. And it's tied to your purpose. So as an exercise, as you're going through today, I want you to write down all the problems you see around you. Take a piece of paper. We're not talking about your business right now, or the business idea that you have, but I want you to take a piece of paper, write down all the problems that you observe in your community, and I want you to give them a score of 1 to 10. 1 being, this annoys me, but it's okay. And 10 being, this problem really, really annoys me, and I if I could do anything about it today, I would deal with this problem. 1 to 10. Rate every problem that you see. Every conversation that you hear and somebody mentions a problem that touches your heart. Is it access to healthcare for kids that are needing healthcare but they don't have it? Don't think about how you're making money. Don't think about how, what's the problem, what's the reason why they don't have it. Just note down the problem. Rate it 1 to 10, and we'll have a conversation. Right? Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your patience. But I'd like to hear from you, thoughts, ideas, questions. You can put them in the chat. You can raise your hand. But yeah, over to you, Emma.